Many Lithuanians claim basketball is like a second religion or way of life. How did the sport come to wield so much meaning to this nation? Today we stand in the Kaunas Sports Hall. This is where legends were born.
Taip ir neišaiškino, kamgi bus įteikti medaliai. Jie šiandien tikrai bus įteikti vienam iš šiandien žaidžiančių komandų. Kauno žalgiriečiai rungtynes pradėjo vilkėdami žaliais marškinėliais.
Lithuania, which came under the control of the Soviet Union in 1940, saw basketball as more than just a game. The USSR excelled in athletic events, including basketball. The Soviet basketball team always won, recruiting the best players from Russia and the independent republics it took over. This trend, however, was challenged with the creation of a Lithuanian basketball team, BC Žalgiris, in 1944, who in its early years won 2 victories against the Soviet team, CSKA Moscow, or how Lithuanians say, CSKA Maskva, which came as a great surprise to the regime. Basketball was not just an ordinary game of who won or lost. For the Russians, it was a way to reinforce their superiority over the countries that made up the Soviet Union. For Lithuanians, basketball was seen as a victory or loss against the occupant. 1981 marked a new era in Lithuanian basketball history when Žalgiris welcomed a young but tall 17-year-old. Arvydas Sabonis, 7'3", stepped onto the court. Lithuania played against the top European teams, and thanks to the help of gifted players like Sabonis, Kurtinaitis, Homičius, and Jovaiša, Žalgiris won 3 Soviet Union League national championships starting in 1985. The rivalry between the Soviet team CSKA Moscow, a Russian basketball team, and Žalgiris fueled Lithuania's sensation of nationalism during its struggle to regain independence from the Soviet Union. In 1988, 4 Lithuanian players, including Sabonis and Šarūnas Marčiulionis, were drafted by the Soviet Union, where they led the team to victory in the Seoul Olympic Games. Sabonis and Marčiulionis were 2 of Lithuania's basketball stars and recognized worldwide, as Marčiulionis was drafted for the Golden State Warriors and Sabonis was drafted both by the Warriors and Portland Trail Blazers. The Berlin Wall fell in 1989, and 1 year later, Lithuania was the first republic of the Soviet Union that declared itself as an independent country once again. Once the USSR broke apart in 1981, the basketball players were able to go play for the NBA and other teams they were invited to. But Lithuania's basketball story does not stop here. Lithuania dreamed of participating in the 1992 Barcelona Olympics, but it lacked the financial support as it had just emerged from the Soviet occupation. An unexpected sponsor, a band called the Grateful Dead, stepped in. The band provided financial support and warm-up jerseys, which featured a tie-dye shirt with a skeleton dunking a basketball, above an image of hands trying to prevent the shot from going into the basket. Often, a skeleton is associated with death, but here it was a symbol of a country's revival. The skeleton dunking the ball was a symbol of Lithuania's successful overcoming of the Soviet oppression. Lithuania lost against the USA's Dream Team, and in the fight for bronze came face-to-face with its former occupant, Russia. Imagine the pressure that Lithuania's team felt. Just 2 years before this game, Lithuania declared its independence, and the whole nation was counting on those 5 players on the court to withhold Lithuania's dignity. Sabonis and Marčiulionis came back to play for their country. Swish and score! Lithuania was victorious! As you can now see, Basketball games between the Soviet and Lithuanian teams were more than just a game. They must be understood within a historical context. To appreciate the impact and sentiments associated with this sport and the pride that basketball brings to this little nation of 3 million, basketball was not just a fight for a trophy or a title, but a fight for a country's independence.